In South Africa at the Miss World pageant on the 14th of December. She was sexually abused as a child and has chosen to support, to inspire and of course help girls, boys, women and men who have had a similar experience as part of a Miss World Beauty with a Purpose campaign. Using the hashtag "It's Not Your Fault" as her slogan, she's determined to use the very public platform that Miss World provides to bring solace to women and men who are survivors of sexual assault. She joins me now in studio for more. A very good morning to you, Sasha-Lee. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And you're so beautiful. I just can't get over your beauty.
Thank you so much. Thank
It's
you.
finally happening on the 14th of December. You are representing South Africa at the Miss World pageant. And, you know, we were just chatting before this interview that the Springboks won the World Cup. So I implore you to maintain the momentum and bring that crown home.
That's a very similar DM that I've been receiving. It's all about maintaining the energy. I think it's so great what we're achieving right now, and it just shows us what is possible in our country if we just all work together.
Yeah. And speaking of maintaining the energy, you have indeed done so insofar as pursuing your project, Beauty with a Purpose, with a particular emphasis on hashtag "It's Not Your Fault." Do take us through that project.
You know, some would say it's given what I've experienced growing up, but it's more a matter of when you're human, you need to have empathy and understand what others are going through. It really stems from the fact that I'm human and I understand that this is very much a crisis. I think there are many movements that are honing in on this, such as Am I Next, Not in My Name. And it's very important that we really hone in on the aftermath of trauma and really tackle that issue, because it's often something that's neglected.
Yeah. And having said that, Sasha, I mean, it's very difficult for survivors and victims of sexual abuse or any form of abuse to come out and speak about it. Just how difficult was it to speak about what you went through and the kind of support? Did you receive the much needed support?
It is difficult. It really is. And it's something that I found that I've had to recommit to all the time. Healing is a continual process. And you know, when they say that this is a life sentence, I agree, because it's something you have to recommit to. Was it hard speaking up on that platform? Yes, but the reality is that moment wasn't about me. It was about the women and men who succumbed to the aftermath of trauma. So in that moment, it was for them. Because when I said today together we take our power back, I meant it. And I'm so glad to be a part of a platform that wants to do this, that wants to go into the dark places. And yes, I've received a lot of support. My family, the organization I'm working with, the Miss South Africa organization. So I know very well how hard it is to speak up, but support is necessary. And
it makes it particularly even more interesting because you are involving men and boys who have been I don't want to use the word neglected when it comes to being victims of sexual abuse, but they are victims. There are men and boys who are victims of sexual abuse and other forms of abuse. So through your slogan, hashtag "It's Not Your Fault," I suppose you focus on the victims and the survivors of any forms of abuse, don't you?
Yes, because this is an issue that transcends gender. This isn't a woman's issue. This is a societal issue. And you're very right in saying that there are men and boys who unfortunately have survived this reality, and this is something that we cannot neglect. We cannot neglect the fact that this is an issue that transcends gender, because then we need to focus on everyone.
Yeah. How do we get people to speak about these issues, especially those who are still underage?
You know, it's a matter of taking the first step. I was very much aware of the fact that when I took that step, I took it for a lot of people. And I hope that in speaking up, I liberate many and I inspire them to do the same, because that's the first part, breaking the chains of silent shame and fear. And it's something that we neglect, but it's so necessary in the healing process. So in terms of the individuals who are young, I would hope that schooling would be that form of solace, and a teacher could be that person for the survivor. But it's subjective. It really is.
I mean, having assumed the role as Miss South Africa, do you get a sense that your message is filtering through the very people that it's intended to reach?
It does. It really does. After the launch of my campaign and even after the night, a lot of survivors came forward and told me about their story.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that when we take that step, we take it for many. And yeah.
So to those who've gone through what you went through, to survivors of all forms of abuse, what message do you have for them?
That moment doesn't define you. If anything, I found that your darkest moments can bring you to the lightest, and I'm hoping that you see me somewhat as a beacon of hope and understand that there's so much more.
Yeah.
There's so much more that awaits you, and you will take your power back. It's just a matter of time.
It is a matter of time indeed, and being a beacon of hope, we certainly hope that you will bring that title home. Sasha-Lee, all the best, hey?
Thank you so much, and thank
South
you
Africa
so much.
is really behind you, hey?
I know, and I can feel it, and
Sure.
and I know that moment it's not for me, it's for us.
All right, great stuff. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Sasha-Lee Laurel Olivier acknowledges the reality of limited access to medical rape kits, but is quite determined to assist women and men on an emotional level, as that was one of the things that she wished for when reporting her case. That's the reason she distributes the rape comfort packs that accompany her #It'sNotYourFault campaign. This is Morning Live. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, but before we go to an ad break, let's take a look at some more